assessment method, that is observation. Okay, so the definition of observation I have divided over here into three important parts. Okay, so observation involves employing systematic, organized, and objective procedures. Okay, so we'll go through these three terms one by one. First of all, it's systematic. So what do we mean by systematic? Systematic means that it involves specification of exact actions. Okay, now what do we mean by specification of the exact actions, attributes, or variables to be recorded? See, suppose there are two researchers and they are doing observational method in a classroom. Okay, like they are observing students, that how do they behave around their teacher or in the absence of their teacher. Okay, now they have to mutually decide what specific actions are there to record. It can't be like that, that one researcher is recording one behavior in particular and another researcher is totally ignoring it. Okay, it can't be in that way. So observation has to be systematic, means that there should be certain specific actions that need to be recorded. And another meaning is that same results should be there of both the researchers. Okay, suppose there are two researchers and they are doing, or they're carrying out observational method in a particular classroom. So both of those researchers should obtain same results. Okay, so that is the meaning of systematication. That systematic observation involves the specific action that need to be recorded and precisely how they are to be recorded. So basically the intent is to ensure that under the same or similar circumstances, all observers will obtain the same results. Another one is organized. So observation procedures are usually organized and conducted under preset guidelines. Okay, they are conducted under preset guidelines so that observation gathered through the process can be analyzed and compared. Like in the case of two researchers observing students in a classroom, so they have to organize, or they have to set guidelines in a way that later on both of them can compare their results. All right. The third important aspect in observational method is objectivity. Okay, observation method should be as objective as possible in order to avoid bias. Okay, in order to avoid bias means the objective is that observer should seek to record simply what they see without offering any opinion. Okay, that means no personal opinion should be there or should be present in the observational method. Okay, whatever the researcher records or whatever the researcher observes, he has to record that without involving his own personal opinion. Okay, so there are two examples. Over here there are certain children and there are certain students, they are playing in a classroom. So researcher might observe that, okay fine, how different students react around the toys, or what is their sharing behaviors. Do they share these toys with other students also, or do they like reading books? Like this is the classroom behavior. Okay, so observation can also be carried out in a workplace to find out which employee behave in a certain way, or how is their behavior around their other co-workers and everything like that. Okay, observational method is divided into two parts. One is natural observation and another one is laboratory observation. Okay, so this image we can see over here. This image is an example of a natural observation, and another one is of a laboratory observation. Okay, now what do we mean by Natural observation. This is first in correspondence to this image. All right. Now, what do we mean by natural observation? See, natural observations are observations that we make of subjects while they are in their real life or in their natural environment. Like these kids, okay, they are in their natural environment, they are in the playground, okay, so they are behaving the way they want to do, the way they want to behave. Why? Because they are in a real environment, they are in a natural environment. Nothing has been manipulated over here. Number two, observer has little to no control over the interpretations. Okay, there is no control. Why isn't there any control? Because kids are in the playground, they're playing the way they want to. Maybe they'll share their toys, maybe they'll not share their toys, maybe they'll let their friends slide first, or maybe they will themselves gonna slide first. So there is no control of the observer. The observer just has to record the behavior which is taking place over here. And third point is that reports may suffer from subjective interpretations of the observer. Subjective interpretations, why? Because one researcher might see this picture in a different way, might see kids in a different way than the other researcher. Okay, why? Because there is no control over the environment, so there might be certain subjective interpretations. Because there is no standardization involved over here, so there might be certain subjective interpretations of different researchers. Okay, the second one is this laboratory settings. So laboratory settings are conducted in settings created by the observer or within a laboratory. Okay, as we can see over here, this is a classroom. Okay, so classroom, why classroom comes under laboratory observation? Because see, classroom is a controlled environment. Okay, teacher is present over there, or a particular administrator is present over there, so children have to behave in a certain way. They have to be in discipline. Okay, they have to complete their classwork, they have to listen to their teacher even if they don't want to. Why? Because they are in a controlled environment, in contrast to the natural setting, which is in a playground. In playground, kids are allowed to behave the way they want to, right? Whereas in the classroom, kids have to behave according to the teacher, the way the way their teacher wants them to behave. All right. So yeah, laboratory setting is there, or controlled setting is there, and laboratory observations offer researchers more control over the data gathering process. Okay, obviously there is more control. Okay, the setting has been controlled over here, but again, the data does not reflect real life phenomena. These kids, this particular kid who is listening to teacher attentively might not be as attentive as he is trying to show. Why he has to be attentive? Because he's in a classroom right now, whereas in the playground he might be the most notorious kid. All right, now we have reached to our last assessment method, that is self-report. So self-report is a method in which a person himself, okay, that's why I have written over here, person himself provides factual information about his opinions or his beliefs that he holds. Okay, so basically self-report definition is divided into two parts, that a person provides factual information about himself or opinions, beliefs, etc. that he holds. Okay, now like variety of methods can be employed to obtain information. Like in self-report, we use various methods. Okay, various methods, as we can use interviews. Okay, as we can see over here, interviews. Researchers can also use questionnaires or certain psychological tests, and also researchers can take the help of any personal diary. So this is all self-report. So basically self-report is that self is reporting about himself. Okay, I mean, the individual himself is telling about himself. So this is this is just the individual work, and this is how the individual shares information with the researcher or shares the information with the other person concerned. Okay.